Welcome to Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez. There are many reasons why people start a business, but for one business coach, her success was born out of adversity, teaches people how to find their freedom, and she wants you to be next. So let me introduce you to Bridget Hum. Bridget, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with you.
And I'm really looking forward to hearing it because it's you have this what you call bridge to freedom coaching, but there's a reason behind what you're doing. Can you tell me more about it? And and you're also the author of Stuck on Ready, which is a great title of a book, but there's so much more behind this story. What does it all mean?
When people typically ask, like they do in networking, so how did you get started? Or, why did you start your business? And I typically say, well, it was more out of desperation than I would say motivation. Uh, and, and it started during the reinvention evolution of 2020, right? Wouldn't you say most people were reinventing their lives and businesses during that time?
Absolutely. 100%. My business certainly went a different direction from where I thought it was heading. So, what happened with you?
I had the exact same experience. So what happened was, well, I just moved out of my big, beautiful home and I was actually on my way to getting Zoom divorced. And
Oh,
then
wow.
I know, right? Zoom divorce is a thing for some people. It was like a Zoom business networking meeting, only you were getting divorced.
Wow.
But what happened next was virtual school happened for my three young boys.
Mm.
And I was working the seniors industry at the time, and no one would go near a senior citizen for their safety. And so I lost every possibility of income coming in. And at the time, Bridge to Freedom coaching was just a side hustle. I had had a total of 3 clients. And so what happened next was, well, I had to figure out how to make money. And I really considered what my friend was doing, which she was actually becoming an Instacart shopper. And
Okay.
try this. And, I love Instacart shoppers, by the way. They save my life and my time. So thank you so much if you're an Instacart shopper. But it just something inside of me said, there's something different. And so I got a random Zoom business networking link. It was a Sunday afternoon. And I didn't even know what a Zoom was. Did you know what a Zoom was in 2020?
No, not before Zoom. I was looking for webinars at the time because I knew that before, COVID, that in order to do my trainings and my workshops and my master classes that I do, I wanted to be able to reach people that, weren't living around me. So I knew that that would be a good source for it. So actually COVID helped me in that regard that it forced me to find a place, and Zoom was one of the things that did that.
Same here. I had no idea. So what happened was I registered for this Zoom business networking meeting. I didn't know this network. I'd never met this person. And I showed up on a Thursday morning at 8 a.m. to Epic Business Networking. And this gentleman, Brian, goes, Bridget, Holm, give your 30 seconds. And I'm like, dang it, he mispronounced my last name. What am I supposed to say? And I was really considering still pitching my placement agency for seniors. But something just inside of me, I guess God or subconscious mind made a split-second decision. And I said, Bridget, I'm here with Bridge to Freedom Coaching. Are you ready to level up? And I had 6 clients within 6 weeks. My
Wow.
90-day Find Your Freedom program was born, my self-paced programs, group sales trainings, live motivational speaking engagements, and the best-selling book, Stuck on Ready. And here we are today. So I've gotten to serve hundreds and thousands of entrepreneurs and coaches and consultants since then, all virtually, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
No, that's crazy because, I know that we met through that same coaching or that same link, that business, what do you call it? The Epic group. I know it's just Brian, I always look at it as it's a LinkedIn group for me that I found out about it. So I always refer to it as the South Florida, business professionals. But that's where I found Brian. And this was his networking coaching, and I try to be there sometimes. I do it. I know he has several, but I
He's
try
in,
and go, yeah, on a Thursday morning at 8 or 8:30 or whatever time it is. But it's, if you want to find out, go to the South Florida Business Professionals. But that's funny. I didn't realize that's where you did it.
they became my biggest supporters, and they really became a networking family because, when I launched my business in the middle of the pandemic, like many of us did, see, virtual school was going to stay a virtual thing, and I couldn't stay in South Florida. So I actually relocated to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and put my kids on a school bus in August and actually launched a whole worship ministry with hundreds of people live and food trucks. The first week I got there, as well as doing a team and leadership building conference. So it was interesting how it just kept pushing me along, and I had to be stuck on ready because it, like Brian used to say, it takes too long to get ready when you're a leader or an entrepreneur. And so I just had to be stuck on ready to say yes to the next opportunity in front of me and then just make moves. And that's how I realized, wow, I can absolutely continue to help people. And the ideas and the creativity just flow when I'm in the zone of empowering someone for business growth or personal development.
Let me ask you this though. How did that adversity keep you ready? I mean, because that alone is a move that's hard to make and it's very emotional. And you have children in the midst of all that. So just the juggling, just the, everything newness of 2020, all the virtual learning how to even use it. But how did it actually push you to not stop or not, because a lot of people go the absolute opposite of the direction you went. So what made it push you forward as opposed to push you backwards?
That's a great question. Well, like I recommend to every entrepreneur or employee turned entrepreneur or coach that's in a place where they're like, I don't know if this entrepreneurship journey is for me. My experience was, if you don't jump in with 2 feet, if I didn't say like, you know what, I'm cutting out all my other options, I'm not turning back. It's incredible how many of your mental faculties you have and how much energy you have to propel you into doing the things you need to do for business growth and to monetize your influence, because a confused mind does nothing. And so it's really about setting the direction, making the decisions, and deciding what your destination of your future successful self will be. And I always say, honestly, this is what I always did. To be as present as possible was really the magic secret behind entrepreneurship and overcoming the adversity. Getting divorced, if anyone's gotten divorced and you're listening, it's nothing easy. But I will say this, the ability to be logical and start to see your divorce as a business partnership and transition from the romantic partnership is extremely helpful. And so once you make your number one goal to show up well and authentically, and your number two goal to empower the person in front of you with positivity, with solutions, with strategies, no matter what, then the path in front of me was much easier than it would have been. He actually sent me a birthday present that year because of the empowered partnership. It's not anything special within me. It's simply because I chose to be logical and I chose to show up well, no matter what. It was actually about how I wanted to show up, my expectation of myself versus anybody else's expectation.
I tell you, and you've done it. I've looked, if you go on, her website, you will see like many, many testimonials. And actually, I'll probably share some at the very end of the show. So you can actually hear from people who have worked with Bridget, because I want you to hear from them to understand the kind of work that she's doing and who she's working with. Speaking of, you have different, you have like a 90-day, you have like an 8-week, you have like a join me for an hour, tell me a little bit about, the different, types of programs that you have and why they're different and what is it that you want people to get no matter which one they take.
Whenever I get the chance to be in front of an entrepreneur or share time with anyone, really, I always say anyone can hop on my calendar for a virtual 30 minutes to gain some new direction. I want entrepreneurs and coaches and consultants to understand that you sell who you're being when you're doing, first and foremost. So the reality is, personal development is the foundation of professional success in the world of entrepreneurship. And that's where we really find our freedom to honor our roles and our goals. And so I have various programs based on the different levels that people need to rise to success for them. Limitless potential looks different for each person. And that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. But it's always getting to that place of financial freedom, of getting 10K plus a month, of being able to love your mom life or your dad life, or just the service work that you get to do, but also monetize your info in such a way. So I always say it's important to, which my programs help you to do, hire and fire the right mental team, because you'd have to consult the right mental team, right? And to sell, brand, market yourself in the world of social media and the real world. So it's what I say, the how, what, and the why in the world of coaching. And so it's that life and business evolution that each one of my programs promises and delivers.
What are you proud of most? Family, through yourself, or how do you look at yourself now?
That's such a funny question, Jacqueline. Well, how do I look at myself? I look at myself as the woman that God created me to be today, not the woman that I think I should be, not the woman that I even want to be, but really as the woman that I know that if anyone who steps in front of me, I am absolutely convinced that I can give them some sort of solution for their life or their business. And then I get to be a mom to these three savages. I mean, three sweet boys. And I get to be a wife today because I actually met my husband in Zoom Business Networking in the same epic networking.
Now, you know what? We're giving Brian a little bit too much business here. You know, I'm a little concerned, about, he's going to have to send us a check on that,
Right. And he's, my husband is incredible. He actually, how he pursued me. Do you want me to tell that story? It's a fun story.
Yes, please tell it.
Well,
now that I know it's all epic, we'll put romance, on the side, and business model.
Right. Well, I always say my tagline was, when you take the business out of the relationship, your relationships will bring you business. Or
I want you to say that again, and say it slower, because it's on her website, first of all, but I loved it. I thought, well, that's great. I want to hear it again, but just a little slower.
When you take the business out of the relationship, your relationships will bring you business. And it means, don't get trapped in a business in the box mentality where you're constantly a human doing. You'll show up hungry for the sale. It's really about just empowering the person in front of you with solutions. But then there's also strategy at the same time. You have to exercise those marketing, sales, and branding muscles and constantly be learning more about the people that are around you so that you can truly serve them well. But all right, fun story. Ready?
Right. Let's go to it.
So I'd been newly Zoom divorced. And, we did those 30-second pitches in Zoom Business Networking. I'm sure if you're listening and you're an entrepreneur or coach, you know this, you remember this. And one day he said, anyone divorced here? And I kind of raised my hand, and that's not like me to be that transparent, with these people, anyone really. And so he just did that as an intention getter. And he goes, I do divorce mortgage guidance. So if anyone could connect me to a divorce attorney, then I can absolutely help them. He noticed I did that. And he goes, she's divorced. And so here's where it comes. He wrote me a review on LinkedIn. He goes, Ms. Hum, I would love to leave you a review on LinkedIn. I've seen your coaching. It's exceptional. And then 2 weeks later, it was like an email drip campaign. He's like, Ms. Hum, I would love to send you a book on personal development from my coach. I know you'll love it. What's your address? And then it was like 2 weeks later, Ms. Hum, we are long overdue for a one-on-one. How about we set that up?
Oh my goodness.
And he was just incredibly smooth and very persistent in such a subtle way. And, when you know what you want, it's there. And so we actually, I was in Fort Wayne, Indiana at the time. As I told you, I actually grew my whole network in South Florida from Fort Wayne, Indiana, while I was running my coaching business. And of course, I had to fly down for a business trip during Christmas to meet him in person. And so that's what happened. I flew down, we met in person, and honestly, we celebrated New Year's together, and the rest was history. We were on our way. There was no stop, no nothing. We were just so enamored with each other, and he was so excited. He came with 2 dogs. I came with 3 boys, And he used to say, I get to raise 3 boys to become men, and Bridget's just the bonus. And so we just jumped in with 2 feet, and we have been so happy. It will be coming up on 2 years of marriage this March, and we couldn't be happier together. We are so blessed. We consider ourselves so blessed to have found each other. And so out of adversity came this coaching business where I'm coaching people internationally, entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, and some people in the C-suite realm. And he and I are just, plugging away, raising these 3 boys and loving, having a romance with life, really, I would say.
You talk about that. You talk about that also on your website, which is something. Can you break down, that line I'm talking about, on your website? And
Yes.
it's just another very thought-provoking message that's in a sentence. Can you share that?
Absolutely. So when I was coaching in the beginning, I realized that my number one goal for the entrepreneur or coach in front of me was I wanted them to know what it was to partner with their future successful self and know how to do it successfully. I wanted them to also have a romance with life. I wanted them to honor their roles, not just their goals, financially speaking or business wise. And then I wanted them to know how to create empowered client interactions forever, because that's the number one problem for most entrepreneurs is they do get trapped in that business in the box mentality where they don't have empowering ideas or strategies or know how to create them in their minds. And so the mindset strategies I created give people the opportunity to constantly generate new ideas, new business growth strategies, and new ways to enjoy their life and remember to do those things.
So what can you share with us? Is your program based on this book, Stuck on Ready?
The book is a compilation of strategies that I've created through coaching hundreds of entrepreneurs and coaches. And so I wanted one way to get these strategies into entrepreneurs' hands without talking to me. If you'd like to talk to me, we could absolutely do that. I'll definitely give you some customized strategies, but this book gives you these strategies on each page for business growth, for marketing, for sales, for mindset. Like it says in the subtitle, it's all about mastering the successful entrepreneur mindset, breaking free from self-sabotage and accessing limitless potential, and what that looks like for you, which I believe is self-actualization for the entrepreneur. It's not always just a one and done number. It's specifically, we want to be self-actualized. And that's what I believe they deserve, which is why I coined the law of deservability. Because we had to, and I talk about it in chapter 4, as entrepreneurs and coaches, we create our reality, our relationships in business, not based on what we desire, but based on what we believe we deserve, which is the deeper subconscious program. And so I started sharing that we need to change your deservability from, justifying the next right thing or, living in the justs. I just don't have time. I just don't have this, and get out of the thinking and into the doing. So I always say massive results requires taking imperfect action. And so there's a lot more. The pillars of the law of deservability are in this book. So a free training is in this book on how to create an avalanche of growth in your business. And honestly, there's so many tools to create emotional intelligence within you too, for your personal relationships and professional relationships.
And I take it, especially in your coaching, the one thing you said was, how to get to know yourself more or less is what I'm saying, to really know who you are, which is something you really need sometimes somebody else to pull that out of you. Or basically, as I always say, just ask the right questions. I've been in a lot of small groups and things like that, and been trained to help people draw that out or draw the questions out of them. They already have the answer generally inside of them, but they just need to be asked the right question. And also, the other big part of that is just simply carving out the time to think about it.
Yes.
Right? So,
Well,
yeah, so that's really, if you want to know, if you think, well, I don't need a coach. Well, sometimes having a coach helps you carve out that time. It makes you make an appointment for your life. And so having a coach come and do that, and who's disciplined and training and not helping you get away from justifying whatever the thinking you're already there, or thinking you can't do something, and then being able to say, okay, I know that's what your schedule says, but if you just do this, this, and this, you could, make it. And that's why a coach is so important, I think, sometimes.
Yes, and I'm going to well, Simon Sinek says it's all about the power of why, and sometimes I disagree with that. I challenge that a little bit because why is a very intrinsic question, and it is a good thing. It is necessary, but when it comes to coaching, and I talk to people all the time. I talk to hundreds of people a week, and I always say figuring out your why is definitely important for you for your personal development, but empowering questions never start with why. And I was talking to my friend Carol Boston, who's a leadership coach.
I was going to say, do you know Carol Boston?
Exactly. He's the one who shared this with me.
Oh, that is so funny.
So she said it always begins with when, how, do, what. And she just hit me with that. And it was so profound. And then I started explaining, I'm like, the why is the intrinsic, the every other question is the extrinsic. And it's very similar to when you're launching your own coaching business or your own entrepreneurial business, whatever that is, IT, real estate, loan origination, whatever it is, you always need both to go hand in hand, mindset and strategy. So you need to be able to take the action of the other questions and say, what do I need to do to monetize my influence today? When am I going to do these things? Have a task management program for yourself. How am I going to get there? Is it going to be talking to a coach? We have so many of us coaches offer 30-minute consultations. Take advantage of that. Take advantage. If you don't take advantage of mine, take advantage of someone's, because it's so powerful to get that second opinion, right? Like you said.
Well, I understand, because, I would like to if it were up to me, I would be on the rooftops screaming to people why they should get media coverage, or why they should take these trainings that I offer. Because if you understand how easy it is to get news coverage, and now news coverage for social media, and the impact that it brings, I mean, I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to tell people, look, hey, come, if this is going to be something so valuable. And if you look, I mean, I have so many examples, just like you have all these testimonials. I have all these examples. I'm like, how much news coverage do you need to see? In order, and then not only that, but the rewards from it, the benefits of it, of being visible. And that's why I think today, just sharing. I like to share when I know that somebody is offering something valuable, and you're going to impact. You're already impacting the community. Because you're touching lives and changing lives, and you're transforming not just people, you're transforming communities through those people, through your coaching. And that's why I believe, there are certain coaches I find that are very insightful. And I love this Stuck on Ready. I love your story, because I want people to understand that you've been through something. Mm-hmm. So something, you're not just saying, hey, let me tell you nice things, to make it sound good. It's born out of adversity. You've had some experience. You've done the work through experience, and you're just helping people not have to take the same road that you took. You're making it a little bit easier, but now you're not this way now. You've got a bigger view because you've been through it. And so, yeah.
Well, so and I think actually the number one problem for most people not taking advantage of something like you offer is that they either don't believe in the amount of impact they can create, so they need to enlarge their vision, or they just don't think that what they have to offer the world is that magnificent. And so I always say, if you're an entrepreneur, you got to believe that what you have to offer is the absolute best possible solution to solve your prospects' problems. You have to believe in that. I encourage everyone to do speaking engagements and try this out. I always say that absolutely anyone listening right now can impact lives. So take advantage of that. Really take a moment and take 5 minutes to write down how you want to impact people's lives, and then take action.
So, Bridget, how can people reach you? You know what? I realize we have not, because usually I'm always running this ticker along the bottom, and I didn't. I was so busy and into your story that I really wasn't doing that. So, I just want to make sure that we're running this so that people, when they're seeing this, will be able to. I knew something looked a little, I was like, what's missing? Like this ticker is not running across the
Well,
bottom of the screen.
good news. You can find me anywhere on social media. Honestly, whenever I get on a call with someone I don't even know from the UK, from Canada, they go, I see your videos everywhere. So that's good to know. You can find me anywhere on TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, anywhere. So I'm very, very visible and very reachable.
Yeah, I see you. Stuckonreadyentrepreneur.com. So go to her website, see more about the book, see more about her trainings and what she's offering, but get to know her. She's offering you a 30-minute workshop. Is that, a consultation? Is that what I heard?
Oh, it's more than that. It's actually a very, very crucial strategy call to focus on how to break free from overwhelm and get into the fast lane of success to monetize your influence, but also have a romance with life at the same time.
That's insane. Please take advantage of that offer. It can't hurt you. It can only help you. Take advantage of the services that Bridget Hom has to offer. And I want you to hear, before we go, I want you to hear about some of the people that she's helped already. Bridget, thank you so much for joining us today on Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez.
Thanks, Jacqueline. This was awesome.
Hello, my name is Dr. Christy Walter. I am a board-certified emergency medicine physician. I've been practicing emergency medicine for a little over 20 years. And I met Bridget from the Find Your Freedom program a little over 3 months ago and started working with her. I have to say it's the best investment I have ever made in my life. The transformation from where I was to where I am to where I'm going is unfathomable. And I highly respect Bridget. My life has changed in ways that I never imagined. I opened a business and I'm in the process of developing a second business. And I feel like I've met myself for the first time. My future looks brighter than I could ever have imagined. I highly recommend the Find Your Freedom program. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Michael Shapiro, CEO and founder of Tap Into. We're a network of more than 90 franchised online local news and digital marketing platforms in New Jersey, New York, and Florida. We hired Bridget to help provide sales training and mentorship to our franchisees, and she's been fantastic. The franchisees have developed more confidence and also more knowledge, and I couldn't recommend her more highly. I highly recommend Bridget for all of your coaching needs. This is Michael Shapiro from Tap Into. Thanks so much.